Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityabhakta Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So, sorry about yesterday when I started chapter 7. Today we'll start chapter 6 of third canto, SrimadBhagawatam, Creation of the Universal Form, text number 1. So far Vidurji had asked questions to Matrimony, and now Matrimony will start speaking. Rishiruvacha iti tasam sushaktinam satinam samityasa prasuptilokatantranam nishamya gatimishvaraham. Maitreya Rishi was speaking earlier also, the 5th chapter, but he concluded with demigods praying to Krishna. And now he's further speaking about the universal form. He started off with that, how all the changes take place in Mahatattva. And then he got onto demigods topic. Now he's coming back to Mahatattva. The Rishi Maitreya said, the Lord thus heard about the suspension of the progressive creative functions of the universe due to non-combination of his potencies, such as the Mahatattva. There is nothing wanting in the creation of the Lord. All the potencies are there in a dormant state. But unless they are combined by the will of the Lord, nothing can progress. The suspended progressive work of creation can only be revived by the direction of the Lord. So all the progressive work had been suspended because the demigods, they couldn't carry out the orders further. And then, if you remember, demigods prayed to Krishna to carry out our order, your orders and our responsibilities. Please give us the knowledge and the strength. So now Maitreya Rishi is coming back to that topic. So the Lord just heard about the suspension of the progressive creative functions. And then what he does, text number 2. Kal sangyam tada devim vibrat shaktim urukramaha triyovinshati tattvanam ganam yug pada vishat. The Supreme Powerful Lord then simultaneously entered into the 23 elements with the goddess Kali, his external energy, who alone amalgamates all the different elements. So there are 23 elements from the Mahatattva. After the deformations or changes take place in Mahatattva, 23 total elements are there. And Krishna himself, not Krishna, like Vishnu here, the demigods are praying to, they always go and pray to Kshirodaksha Vishnu. The Vishnu who's in charge of this given material universe. So along with Kali, he entered into each and every element to bring about the motion, activity. The ingredients of matter are counted as 23. So elements are counted as 23 here and 26 elements when Kapil Dev will speak to Mother Devahuti. Because in his counting, he also includes soul and super soul. And there's one more thing. I think that time or maybe some other elements is there that he also counted that also. The ingredients of matter are counted as 23. The total material energy, which is the Mahatattva, false ego, sound, touch, form, taste, smell, earth, water, fire, air, sky, eye, ear, nose, tongue, skin, hand, leg, evacuating organ, genitals, and then speech and the mind. So 5, knowledge acquiring, five other senses like Karmendriya and Jnanendriya, 5 working senses, 5 knowledge acquiring senses, 5 sense objects of each. So these are 20. And then mind, the material energy, and the false ego. So according to this, that's our 23. All are combined together by the influence of time and are again dissolved in the course of time. Time, therefore, is the energy of the Lord and acts in her own way by the direction of the Lord. So all these elements are combined by the influence of time. Without time, they cannot combine. So energy. So this energy of the Lord is time. This energy is called Kali and is represented by the dark, destructive goddess, generally worshipped by persons influenced by the mode of darkness or ignorance in material existence. So that is this energy by which everything is combined is also called Kali. Kali is another form of Durga. So this is the energy, or this is a personality that people are worshipping all over during the Navratra festivals. So she is an energy of the Lord, a very powerful, and Kali, the Kali aspect of Durga is represented by the dark, destructive goddess, generally worshipped by persons influenced by the mode of ignorance. In the Vedic hymn, this process is described as Mula Prakritir Avikritir Mahadadaya Prakriti Vikritya Sapta Shodashkas Tu Vikaro Na Prakritir Na Vikriti Purusha. The energy which acts as material nature in a combination of 23 ingredients is not the final source of creation. So in the shloka it is said, God, Kshirodaksha Vishnu himself entered along with Kali to have the activity started. So the source of creation is Vishnu. The Lord enters into the elements and applies his energy called Kali. In all of the Vedic scriptures, the same principle is explained as in Brahma Samhita it is stated, Eko api rasaitum jagadanda kotim yachatte rasti jagadanda chaya jayadanda andantarastha paramanu chayantarastham govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. I worship the primeval Lord Govinda, who is the original personality of Godhead. By his partial plenary expansion, Mahavishnu, he enters into material nature and then into each and every universe as Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and then as Kshirodaksha Vishnu into all the elements, including every atom of matter. So, Andantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastham. Such manifestations of cosmic creation are innumerable, both in the universes and in the individual atoms. So this is how Krishna enters as Kshirodaksha Vishnu, who expands himself as Paramatma and enters into every atom. And along with Kali, the energy, he enters. Similarly, this is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Atev bahunatena kim gyatena tavarjuna vishchabhyaham idam kritsnam ekangshena sthito jagat. O Arjun, there is no necessity of your knowing about my innumerable energies, which act in various ways. I enter into the material creation by my partial plenary expansion, Paramatma, or the Supersoul, in all the universes and in all the elements thereof. And thus the work of creation goes on. The wonderful activities of material nature are due to Lord Krishna, and thus he is the final cause, or the ultimate cause of all causes. So he is the ultimate cause, and without him, no creation, no activity can take place, it cannot be maintained, and it will not be destroyed. So ultimately it's all Krishna, nobody else. X3. Soanu pravishto bhagwan cheshta rupena tam ganam pinnam samyojya masa suptam karma prabodhayam. Thus, when the personality of Godhead entered into the elements by his energy, all the living entities were enlivened into different activities, just as one is engaged in his work after awakening from sleep. Every individual soul remains unconscious after the dissolution of the creation and thus enters into the Lord with his material energy. These individual living entities are conditioned souls everlastingly. But in each and every material creation, they are given a chance to liberate themselves and become free souls. So every individual soul remains unconscious after the dissolution of the creation and thus enters into the Lord with his material energy. So all the jivas, they enter into the body of the Lord at the time of full destruction. So at the time of creation, they are again brought forward, they are again brought forth, and they're given different species of different bodies according to their karmas and the desires. And now they're given a chance to liberate themselves and become free souls. They're all given a chance to take advantage of the Vedic wisdom and find out what is their relationship with the Supreme Lord, how they can be liberated, and what the ultimate profit is in such liberation. Even out of all these innumerable living entities, 99.99% of those, they don't want to get liberated. They don't even know about liberation. They don't even know what's the benefit of liberation. So they don't even work on it. Here, Prabhupada is saying they're all given a chance to take advantage of the Vedic wisdom, how they can be liberated and what the ultimate profit is in such liberation. By properly studying the Vedas, one becomes conscious of his position and thus takes to the transcendental devotional service of the Lord and is gradually promoted to the spiritual sky. The individual souls in the material world engage in different activities according to their past unfinished desires. After the dissolution of a particular body, the individual soul forgets everything that he had done in that body. But the all-merciful Lord, who is situated in everyone's heart as a witness, the super soul awakens him and reminds him of his past desires. And thus he begins to act accordingly in his next life. So, like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. From me comes knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. So a living soul, when he sleeps, or when here the sleep is considered as death, when he dies, he forgets. And after he gets a new body, super soul is there to remind him of his unfinished desires and to start working on those. So just imagine how many desires we have in this material body, and how many are fulfilled, and how many were completely unfulfilled, and how many were partially unfulfilled. So to fulfill all those partially unfulfilled and completely unfulfilled desires, we have to take birth again. So many desires. And this is what taking birth over and over again, ever and ever, always. Bhutva bhutva praliyate. This unseen guidance is described as fate, and a sensible man can understand that. This continues his material bondage in the three modes of nature. So only a sensible man, a man of knowledge, he can understand what is happening and why is it happening. So the desires, can we become free of desires? No. Even the yogis and jnanis and karmis definitely have plenty of desires. Even the yogis cannot get free of Get rid of desires. Even the desire for liberation is a material desire. Only thing we can do is to transform the quality of those desires. What are our desires? So we have this knowledge acquiring senses and the working senses. So knowledge acquiring are eyes, ears, nose, mouth, and skin. So with the eyes, we want to see something beautiful. Of course, eyes don't see anything. Eyes are just instruments. The soul wants to see through the eyes something beautiful. Through the ears to hear something beautiful. Through the nose to smell something fragrant. Through the mouth, either to speak something beautiful or to taste something beautiful. And through the skin to touch something very soft and very, very pleasing. And generally, it is the opposite sex he wants to touch. Through the working senses. Now, the working senses are mouth, hands, legs, anus, and genitals. So again, through mouth, either he wants to eat or he wants to speak. Hands, he wants to work something. Legs, he wants to go some places. And what? Anal, of course, he doesn't have a whole lot of option. Genitals, he wants to enjoy with the opposite sex. Now, can all these desires, can all of them be spiritualized? Yes. Can they all be used in service of Krishna? Yes, easily. So Maharaj Ambrish example is there, how he engaged everything in the senses of, in the service of Krishna. But do we have a desire to engage everything in service of Krishna? That's $1 million question. Can the mind be engaged? Yes. Can the mind, do we want to engage the mind in service of Krishna? No. That's where the problem is. Why? Because the mind and the other senses, they have the lower taste and they are just enjoying in the lower taste. Whether you, to give the higher taste to the mind and senses when they are really enjoying the lower taste, it's going to be a disaster. So what does a guru or preacher, what do they do? An expert preacher, what he does, he understands how deep this particular jiva is in the clutches of Maya. And clutches of Maya is what, actually? That's also explained. There was one sadhu, he was going through a jungle and he saw a man. He was with this whole force, he was holding on to a trunk of a tree. And the tree has lots of thorns. And the man, he was holding on to this tree and his feet were only like 1 foot above the ground. So, and the man was crying, oh, please, somebody please save me from this tree. Somebody please protect me from the miseries. Please help me get rid of these miseries and get rid of this tree of Maya. Sadhu was walking by and Sadhu looked at him and he laughed. He said, you just let go of the tree. And the man said, if I let go of the tree, I'll fall, I'll break my legs and I'll hurt myself. I cannot let go of this tree. Sadhu said, you're just 1 foot above the ground. Nothing will happen. Just let go of the tree and finish off your business of pain and misery. So this is our situation. We are tightly holding on to Maya, thinking that if I don't do what Maya says, I will not be happy. I will fall down. I'll hurt myself. This is my comfort zone to be in Maya. This is my only safety. No, safety is there. Comfort zone is there in the lap of Krishna, under the lotus feet of Krishna. Take shelter of Krishna. So this is what Prabhupada has done through his purpose, through his morning walks, through his lectures, through his letters, so many places, so many different ways. He has given us this knowledge. You are holding on to Maya. Maya is not holding on to you. Just let go. So this is the purpose of a sadhu. Sadhu means one who cuts, actually. Means one who cuts our attachment to the material world. One who cuts our the ropes of entanglement which are causing us to stay in the material world. He cuts by his words, by his instructions, by his example. And then what does he do after he cuts? Means that sadhu who was walking by who saw the person holding onto the tree, and he gave him the instruction. But here Prabhupada has given us a very beautiful, very, very, very blissful alternate. You let go of that tree which is hurting you, and then you take shelter of Krishna. So when we try, when we start, when we have little inclination towards taking shelter of Krishna, slowly, all these desires to enjoy the material world go away. This is what is holding us on to this material tree, the tree of the material world, the desire to enjoy. Because we find better enjoyment, better taste, much better taste in Krishna consciousness. It is very, very sweet, very blissful, very ecstatic. We have to taste it properly. And especially it is the duty of the devotees who are already in the movement and who are already been there for some time, that they create an atmosphere for the souls who are suffering in the material world to come and really look for the association of the devotees. It is their duty. Without this creating of proper atmosphere, why would any other soul who is outside, who's suffering outside, would come in the association of devotees? If he thinks it's the same suffering here, same politics, same leg pulling, same backbiting, same tendency of being envious, tendency of being jealous. It's all here. Why should I leave wherever I am right now? We can fool them for a while, like it is said, no? You can fool everybody for some time, and you can fool some people all the time, but you cannot fool all the people all the time. Fool in the sense, I'm not saying devotees are cheating, but if they are not providing a proper setting, proper place, proper environment, all the conditioned souls are suffering in the material world to come and associate with the devotees, then we are basically fooling them. If you say, oh yeah, I come here, everything will be nice and you will enjoy, and then we start doing nonsense activities, politics and this and that, why would he come? And if he's seeing the same thing here that he sees outside. So it's devotees have even a bigger responsibility than anybody else. Okay, further on in the purport, Prabhupada writes, the unconscious sleeping stage of the living entity just after the partial or total dissolution of the creation is wrongly accepted as a final stage of life by some less intelligent philosophers. After the dissolution of the partial material body, a living entity remains unconscious for only a few months. And after the total dissolution of the material creation, he remains unconscious for many millions of years. But when the creation is again revived, he is awakened to his work by the Lord. The living entity is eternal, and the wakeful stage of his consciousness, manifested by activities, is his natural condition of life. He cannot stop acting while awake, and thus he acts according to his diverse desires. When his desires are trained in the transcendental service of the Lord, his life becomes perfect, and he is promoted to the spiritual sky to enjoy eternal awakened life. So all we have to do is train our desires. You want to see something beautiful? Go see the beautiful deities of the Lord, beautiful paintings of the pastimes of the Lord. Want to hear something nice? Hear Krishna Katha, hear Krishna Kirtan, hear Krishna Japa. You want to touch something? Of course, not everybody is qualified to touch the deities. So touch the devotees of the Lord in a mood of serving them. So that's how all the senses can be engaged in the service of the Lord. And that slowly, slowly, slowly takes away our material desires because we are getting higher taste of serving Krishna. So I'll stop here, see anybody has any questions or comments. So I guess we can stop. You all have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Prabhupada.